My favorite anime of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho, has finally arrived for the English version of Union Arena. We're going to be covering every single color and deck archetype, starting with this one. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mobby here, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck profile for this green Yu Yu Hakusho deck that revolves around Yusuke. The whole game plan here is you have two raid cards, which is a 4-cost Yusuke and a 7-cost Yusuke. You have your early game Poos to help you search for those, and your Coenmas for bringing in lots of energy, and of course activating some of the cool unique abilities that work when you have cards put underneath every single one of your, well, raid cards. So let's talk about every single card in this video breakdown. If you guys are just interested in the deck profile, I'm posting this one and every other deck that we cover on my website, MobbyTCG.com. There you can get it in image and text format. So let's talk about all the cards. Today we are going to be using proxies, of course. This allows us to play cards before they're even released, play in person so we can play with lots of friends. And if you guys are interested, we're going to be uploading duels featuring all of these, so you'll be able to see these in action. Link in the comments for that. So these are the action points that I'm using. These are Coenma. It's pretty cool, right? All right, so we'll start from 0 to highest cost. We'll talk about how the card works in the deck and some little tips and tricks there if there's anything. So as I mentioned, the whole game plan is Yusuke 4 cost, which is going to be these ones, and we'll go over it later. Don't worry, just wanted to quickly show. So these 4 Yusuke's here and these 7 cost Yusuke's. Like, you have to really ramp up behind this deck. So you're going to be seeing around 13 to 14 cards in here that can provide multiple energy rather than the one here. Okay, so Yusuke, your basic 0, no abilities. The trigger is add this card to your hand, 1500. Nice basic card. This is your absolutes priority. Grab these guys so you're able to maybe, just raid on a whim, or maybe if you get it from a trigger, you can raid from that as well. All right, another support card we have in the deck is going to be Coenma. So when this is played, you get to draw one and trash one. In lots of decks where you're specifically looking for your top-end cards, you want lots of abilities where you can sift and draw one, trash one, draw one, trash one. This is very perfect for that. Even if you're not drawing, and if the trigger is really good too, you just add a card to your hand, which is great. This Coenma doesn't specifically do any sort of synergies here, but you can still search for it with Poo, which is upcoming right here. Okay, so we are running a total of 10 0-cost cards. This is the last ones here. Poo. Activate main. You can switch this to resting once per turn. His character will gain 1 more energy. Then at the end of the main phase, sideline this character. The best case scenario to use this is when you can kind of get to 6 energy, and the only thing stopping you is maybe, resting this Poo so you can raid on your 7-cost Yusuke. That is the best way you want to use this. You're going to be sidelining that, and then you're going to go down to 6 energy, and maybe you want to play another Yusuke. You better hope you have some more cards to go along with that. But other than that, this is really good. The only weakness here is really weak itself and no freaking trigger here, but that's completely fine. And those are all of our 0 costs. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and sub. It really helps out the channel. Let me know in the comments which deck you would like me to cover next. I do take in all of your guys's, your suggestions, and I really do them. All right, time for one of the most important cards, Poo. This one allows you to really be more consistent with specifically finding your Yusuke's, and if you end up getting enough of your Yusuke's, some Coenmas. So this one costs 1. When played, look at the top 4. Grab 1 Yusuke or Coenma card among them. So technically, it can be any of them, even the 0-cost ones. If you happen to get a ton of your late games, but you don't have any raid sources, you can grab these early ones as well. It's really good. So after you grab that, you put the remaining cards at the bottom, then you trash 1 card from your hand. It's balanced that way because you do get another body on the board, which makes sense. This guy will most likely be played in the back line very early. He doesn't do anything else, but you want to put him in the front line after you fill your back end with more cards that give you, +2 energy. He can be a nice little tiny blocker. Poor Poo. But yeah, we're running 4 because it's super important that you can search as much as possible to get the specific use case that you need. Now moving over to our 2 costs. This is another Yusuke card, of course. Now this one is when played, 1 action. Let me fix the focus here. Okay, so choose up to 1 character on your field and place the top card of your deck face down underneath it. So this deck, even though the whole game plan as mentioned is you want to get the 7-cost Yusuke, there still is a little bit of really cool synergies here with adding cards down facing under. I'm going to go ahead and say charging, if that makes any sense. So there are some cards that, there's Yusuke's, there's a Coenma card, and there's a Hiei. Well, the Hiei card gets benefits from the Coenma, but you will see once we get to the Coenma color how it works when cards are face down underneath it. So basically when you play this, put it under itself or the 3-cost Coenma, which we'll talk about. It's a great card. It's so powerful at 3,000, and the trigger is, you know, active 1,000. Keep, you know, make sure you can get some defenses out. Another really great card, another good candidate for rating on your 4 cost or your 7 cost Yusuke card. So this is a super solid one. So only 4 of these. Now for some more two costs here. Another Coenma. This one gives you +2 energy. It's also searchable by Pooh, so nice. So if this character is active, you gain 1 extra energy. In the back line, if you have a ton of these, you can get up to 2, 4, 6, 8, up to 8 energy. So this is really nice. 2,500, it can be a pinch attacker or blocker if you're going in and trying to end the game, and you just need 1 extra attacker to throw him up there. Otherwise, he's pretty dead on trigger, but you really wanted to see this and put in the back line. This is going to be one that you're probably just going to be leaving the back line the whole game. No trigger. That's the last of your 2 cost cards. Let's move on to a 3 cost, another Yusuke. This one's a little interesting. Check this one out. So this one is cost 3 Yusuke. So you can activate this once per turn, anytime during your main phase. Choose one of the following. This character gains 1 more extra energy. So if it's in the back line, it can gain 2 energy, which is great. You don't have to do any sort of extra setup. It's just in the back line. Doesn't matter if it's arrested or active. You can get the energy ASAP. Or you can activate the other ability, which this character gains. This character generates energy even if it's on the front line. So yes, you can throw this guy on the front line, and then if you need to go up to 7 energy, just make sure you activate that. That's really good. So it's on the front line with the energy. It's so good, so powerful. 3,000 here. It's so good that there's no trigger. If you see a card with no trigger, that means the effects are just solid. But that also means you want to make sure you balance the deck without having too many triggers, because triggers are extremely powerful in Union Arena. But if they're really necessary, they're really good, you have to add them. But we're only running 3. Simply because we don't want too many non-trigger cards, but this is such a good card regardless. Time for another 3 cost. Even more Yusuke. Yeah, the whole deck is Yusuke, guys. So this is a 3 cost. No abilities here. It gives you 2 passive energy in the backline. So these 2 are kind of interchangeable. I'm running these ones at 4 and these ones at 3. Simply for the reason is because the triggers here. No triggers here, but triggers here. This one gives you 2, no matter what, in the backline, and 3,000 here. So it really depends on how you want to run the deck, more or less triggers. Both of these are pretty interchangeable. I would definitely run both, but it's up to you to run, you know, the different sort of, you know, how much you want to run of them. All right, time for your 4 colors of the deck. Koenma, super important card. Let's talk about this. So this one costs 3. During your turn, when a character on your field activates a choose one of the following ability, you may switch this active character to resting. Then place 1 face down card under it to the sideline. If you do, that card becomes choose 2 of the following instead. When played on the energy line, you get to switch this card to active. If on the main, activate during main, switch to resting once per turn. Place the top card of your deck face down underneath this character. So, lots of things to unpack here. There's 3 abilities. Let's talk about that first one. The first one that you can activate the ability that we saw is going to be this Yusuke here. You're going to be seeing this with the other cards that have choose 2. So if you're able to do this, this is active, so you get to use it on your next turn. Or actually, if you place on an energy line, this character is active already, which is completely good. However, once you play Coenma, you need a card under him to order to use the first effect. So either you play him and then you play, for example, this Yusuke here. So you can play this Coenma active. You can play this Yusuke, which allows you to place 1 card underneath any character other than Yusuke. You can do Yusuke too, but you can put it under Koenma on the same turn. Then if you have a card on the field which needs the, you know, choose 2 effects, you can activate the ability by resting it and then trashing that face down card that's underneath it. And this is the very first example that we can see to be using that. So if this character is on the front line, you can gain energy and it will gain 2. So you can get 2 energy on the front line just by using this backwards ability, this bottom ability here to, you know, remove something from the bottom of the card. So that's an example of how the Coenma, if you charge Coenma using his own ability or using that 2 cost Yusuke, for example, you can reap the benefits of both of them, and we're going to be seeing this going forward. So this Coenma, super important. Ideally, you want 4 of these in the backline. Like, no joke. If you can get as much as possible, you get these. Perfect card to grab for Pooh. 100% your best Coenma. This is the last of the Coenmas we're going to be seeing. And the trigger here, let's quickly go over the trigger. Play 1 green character with 2 or less energy required and 1 AP from your hand active on your field. Pretty good. You can put it on the front line or the back line, you know, to block something, or maybe in the back line for even more charging. It's good too. Okay, so Coenma, insanely good support. That's why it's here. Now, time for your 4 finals of the deck. I didn't die for nothing. This one costs 3. Choose 2 AP, switch into actives, gives you 1 extra action at the cost of a card. The trigger here is if this is the final card, when it triggered, you get to heal 1. Nothing fancy. Every deck is running 4 of these. This is Pokemon. Alright, now for your raid card, Yusuke Urameshi. So this one, raids on Yusuke. You can also play it on its own. It won't do anything but be a 4,000 attacking and blocker. 2 abilities here. The first one is, when played, draw 2 and trash 1. Not the best. It doesn't really mess with the board states, but the secondary effect is why you want to really run this card. And also, it's Yusuke. You have to run a bunch of them to make use, just more use of the consistency. So the second effect is choose one of the following. Here we go. This is another ability where you can absolutely use with the Coenma, so keep this in mind. Okay, so choose up to 1 character on your field and place the top card of that of your deck face down underneath it. So you can put it underneath this guy. You can put it underneath the Coenma if you want. The second ability here is you may place 1 face down card that's specifically underneath this character into your sideline. If you do, this character gains impact. So when you play it, you get to get card draw and card sift. Then you can go ahead and use this to charge onto Coenma, so he can use the effect for other cards on the field, or put one under him, so then in a future turn you can activate impact. So it's a little bit of setup here and there. Once again, this is a little bit of a weak card because it doesn't mess with the board state, doesn't rest your opponent, doesn't sideline an opponent, but it's good for, you know, charging up Coenma, this one itself, and then in the future, if you need that impact, you're gonna get it. The raid here is raid if you can, or add it to your hand. Now, once again, in this deck, you have a ton of characters that give you lots of energy, so just make sure you're always at that 4 threshold. You're going to have a lot of Yusuke's in the front line, a lot in the back line. Get that surprise going off. It's going to be really good. Surprise raid, I mean. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so that's your 4 Yusuke's, and we have 4 more up. But before we do, 4 cost Spirit Gun. Let me go ahead and put these Coenmas back in here. Okay, so Spirit Gun. So this is your 4 specials of the deck's one costs 4. Choose 1 character, 3,000 BP less and KO it. However, if you have a Yusuke, which is 75% of your deck, KO 5,000 or less. Nothing to it, pretty nice and simple. The trigger here is a special. KO anybody on the opponent's front line, doesn't matter. Just KO that dang thing, it's so nice. Okay, 2 more cards to talk about. Let's talk about your other support leading up to your final card. So yes, you do have your raid use case, and you do have your 7 cost use case, but you need just a little bit more late game consistency for offensive, which is why we were running a couple of these Hieis in here. These ones cost 5, which is not a problem in your deck when you're just trying to hit 7 the whole game. When attacking, choose one of the following. This character cannot be blocked with 2,500 or less of BP. So if your opponent needs to block, they're forced to do a 3,000 plus. Yeah, you know, so they lose a little bit more value. Or this character gains damage 2. Nice. So if they decide to take the hit, damn, that's 2 damage, which is really good. So it doesn't really do anything crazy, but man, you're really gonna be running 5 plus a lot often, so it's not too bad. So remember the Coenma. If you activate it, if you attack with this, your Coenma has a card underneath it which is active. You can tap the Coenma, get rid of the card underneath, and activate both. Meaning they have to block it with a 3,000 power plus, or they take 2 damage. Nice, pretty good. Okay. Time for the final card of the deck. This is what your whole deck is looking for, man. You just want these use case. Okay, so 7 cost. Raid on Yusuke. You can play it on its own. Once again, you can just play it. It'll be 5,000. It's not the end of the world if you play it with just 5,000 for blocking and attacking purposes on the following turn. When played, this character gains snipe until the end of the turn. So only the turn you play it, boom, snipe. It allows you to attack an opponent's character. Doesn't matter if it's active, defensive. You can go ahead and take that character out. When attacking, you get to choose one of the following. This character gains. When this attacks and is not blocked, choose a character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting until the end of the turn. The second effect here, this character gains impact until the end of the turn. So let's talk about this first ability very quick. When this character attacks and is not blocked, if you snipe on this turn and you attack somebody, they have no reaction to it. They cannot use any cards. They cannot technically block. You are simply attacking a character, which means this thing goes off no matter what. Then you get to choose another character on your opponent's front line and switch to resting, meaning you can snipe somebody that first turn and rest another character, so you are free to do, you know, you took off 2 of their potential blockers for that turn, which is amazing. And also, if you get the Coenma ability, once again, you can activate both during the same turn. You can also get impact, so this is really good. Really, really good for ending the game, and honestly, impact is super good. So I have a couple of double damages here. You have a couple of impacts here, and that's pretty much the deck. Everything is just for these use case. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think about this deck down below. I would say this deck is decent. It's not weak. It's not strong. It's simply right down the line if you want to make this deck. I would say it's good if you want to play with the themes of Coenma and stuff. There's other cards you can definitely add, like some Kuramas in here, but I decided I want just more Yusuke's in general in order to have more chances of right, so that's why I'm adding that. So let me know what you guys think. It's like I said, it's not a bad deck at all, but it's not the top of the food chain, if that's so to speak. All right, so let me know what deck you want me to cover next on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.